And Chinese President Xi Jinping has spoken to Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelenskyy for the first time since Russia invaded its neighbour in February last year. And China's foreign ministry says the pair held a phone call, exchanging views on the crisis. Mr. Zelenskyy described the conversation as, quote, long and meaningful. He said he believes the call, as well as the appointment of Ukraine's ambassador to China, will help further develop bilateral relations. And for more, we have Olivia Xiong reporting live from Beijing. Olivia, what else do we know about this phone call, and what could it imply for China's 12-point peace plan proposed in February?
Well, Wei Su, this phone call, there had been many questions as to when or whether it would take place after President Xi made that visit to Moscow last month, where he met his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin. At that point in time, we also saw the Ukrainian president inviting Mr. Xi to Ukraine. Increasingly, as we've seen, China keen to play the role of peacemaker. And now we are hearing, according to Chinese state media, about this phone call between the Chinese and Ukrainian leaders, and hearing that China is saying that it will send a special representative of the Chinese government on Eurasian affairs to visit Ukraine and other countries, although not specified which countries, to conduct in-depth communication with all parties on the political settlement of the Ukrainian crisis. Also saying that Mr. Xi conveyed that dialogue and negotiations are the only viable way out of the Ukraine crisis, and no one wins a nuclear war. Now, Mr. Xi, according to the reports by Chinese state media, also keen to reiterate Beijing's long-held position on this Ukraine war, also saying that China always stands on the side of peace and that China's core position is to promote peace via talks. Now, all this comes as China has come under increasing pressure from the U.S. and European countries to do more, to use its influence and its close ties with Moscow to try to rein in Mr. Putin and to stop the crisis in Ukraine. But there have been questions as well, no doubt, over this close relationship between Beijing and Moscow. China putting forth this 12-point position paper on a political settlement in which it called for peace talks, but also said that the sovereignty of all countries needs to be upheld, which has been met with criticism from the West, as it doesn't call on Russia to withdraw its troops from Ukraine. But we see that China has Mr. Xi in this phone call somewhat trying to defend China's position, which has also been criticized. China saying that it has taken a neutral stance on this war, refusing to condemn Moscow's actions. But now we see Mr. Xi saying that China is neither the maker nor the party involved in the Ukraine crisis, and that as a responsible country, it will not add fuel to the fire, let alone take advantage of the opportunity to profit, saying that what China has done is above board, calling on all parties to remain calm and restrained and to jointly manage and control the crisis. This also, as we know, China has raised questions and accusations that it's providing support to Russia in Ukraine, something that Beijing has long denied and refused and has said is untrue. And so moving forward, we will have to wait and see. The devil is always in the details. How is China going to move forward these talks and this communication with Ukraine and other countries? That remains to be seen. Wei Su.
Well, thanks for that. Olivia Xiong reporting live to us there from Beijing.